Hello people, welcome to my project for disseminating some of Hegel's Phenomenology of Spirit. I'm going to cover a couple of the bullet points in the preface. I consider Hegel pretty challenging, but also so very fundamentally important for anyone who's inquiring into philosophical thought. Since his work, contemporary philosophical thought of the continental thrust or variety. Despite I'm just picking out a few points that are. Really, you should read the whole text and certainly the whole preface. Start with the preface. Spend time in it, or you can read the whole book really quickly and then go back through and spend time with it because it's really powerful. Anyways, page 3 of the preface to Hegel's Phenomenology of Spirit, translated by A.B. Miller. Bullet 4. Culture and its laborious emergence from the immediacy of substantial life must always begin by getting acquainted with general principles and points of view, so as at first to work up to a general conception of the real issue, as well as learning to support and refute the general conception with reasons, then to apprehend the rich and concrete abundance of life by differential classification, and finally to give accurate instruction and pass serious judgment upon it. From its very beginning, culture must leave room for the eagerness of life in its concrete richness. This leads the way to an experience of the real issue. And even when the real issue has been penetrated to the depths by serious speculative effort, this kind of knowing and judging will still retain its appropriate place in ordinary conversation. Bullet 5. The true shape in which truth exists can only be the scientific system of such truth. To help bring philosophy closer to the form of science, to the goal where it can lay aside the title love of knowing and be actual knowing, that is what I have set myself to do. The inner necessity that knowing should be science lies in its nature, and only the systematic exposition of philosophy itself provides it. But the external necessity, so far as it is grasped in a general way, setting aside accidental matters of person and motivation, is the same as the inner, or in other words, it lies in the shape in which time sets forth the sequential existence of its moments. To show that now is the time for philosophy to be raised to the status of a science would therefore be the only true justification for any effort that has this aim, for to do so would demonstrate the necessity of the aim, would indeed at the same time be the accomplishing of it. Bullet 6 on page 4. To lay down that the true shape of truth is scientific, or, what is the same thing, to maintain that truth has only the notion as the element of its existence, seems, I know, to contradict a view which is in our time as prevalent as it is pretentious, and to go against what that view implies. Some explanation therefore seems called for, even though it must for the present be no more than a bare assertion, like the view that it contradicts. If, namely, the true exists only in what, or better as what, is sometimes called intuition, sometimes immediate knowledge of the absolute, religion, or being, not at the center of divine love, but the being of the divine love itself, then what is required in the exposition of philosophy is, from this viewpoint, rather the opposite of the form of the notion. For the absolute is not supposed to be comprehended, it is to be felt and intuited, not the notion of the absolute, but the feeling and intuition of it. must govern what is said, and must be expressed by it. Okay, and then I'm going to skip ahead, but we'll do that in the next video. Thanks for listening.